This is a poem about walking. Once we walked, my wife and I, 68.25 miles, belongings in bags upon our backs for 5 days, following the footsteps of ancient saints toward where land and sky and sea all haze together. Barefoot across the blinding beach that struggling shrugs off the shimmering tide for just the time it takes to add our tracks to those 10,000 that passed and left no trace before the cycling flood. At our end, we reach a rest and wash our feet and find a home in which to sleep. Arrives the wondrous comfort of welcome warmth, O holy isle of peace. Broken only by choruses of singing seals who with morning chant reprise monastic ways, calling forth friends from uncharted distance to which we slowly listened, progressing as pilgrims, from here to there, skyline to skyline, all between being footsteps. I think he walked, while his Mary with child endured a galling donkey ride. Dust in nostrils and grit between toes, desiccated days haze into desert midnight cold. Whipped along by winter wind toward who knows what, carrying such precious little load. Only hope. They bear it with bated breath, longing and awaiting a celebration, the confirmation of their visions and dreams spoken to them as swirling mists breathed out by divinity. Such weighty, pregnant joy is balanced by a measure of fear that their arrival will reveal that they were wrong, and he, being most wronged, will return to endure gossip passed behind a cuckold's back. But with bravery, they hope. Having no home to seek, they reach for shelter, called forth to an unknown resting place to trade in footsteps for expectant wait. Not long, and then the infant lands, followed swiftly by strangers who traversed across great sands, Magi arrive, with blessed relief, and leave their cloaks outside, dripping with the whelming doubt and condescending eyes they've had poured on them for 500 miles. But far too fast the family must flee, as evil from Herod's palace steps starts towards the newborn king, green-eyed and power-hungry, full to brim with jealousy devouring. Christ now is but a babe in arms, with parents running out ahead of harm, not for lack of bravery. Remember, they've looked angels in the eyes and were not wavering. Against this genocidal tide, God whispers in their ears to fly. And so, now what have they become? Joseph, Mary, and God's one begotten Son. We celebrate with tea-toweled shepherds and tinsel-tipped angels in our annual nativities, but perhaps forget with turkey-filled ease we're commemorating the journey of refugees. And did we take as much note of those who fled this year? I don't want to get political and critical and rain on all the Christmas glitter. All I want to ask is how we as a culture can talk about the hardship of the Christmas story travellers like those kind of journeys aren't made anymore. Like people don't face the choice to flee or to die anymore. Like people don't leave their homes with only what they can carry anymore. Like people don't head into the unknown with only hope to help them anymore. Like people who are refugees aren't people but animal. Because but for the grace of God, Aleppo could be my hometown. And having walked 2,500 miles, how would I take to being told that I'm a few years too old to be helpless, a few meals too strong to be starving? For one day we'll arrive at an eternal city's gates. And what kind of welcome do we think awaits? We, who walking without steps have travelled an even greater distance than all the refugees we might think of this Christmas. For from today we march from time toward a God with arms held wide, who himself passed from Yuletide to forever on by way of nails upon a cross. What will he say that we took his grace and spent it on the poor, the lost, the lonely, and the desperate ones, that what we did for the least of these, truly we did it unto he. So following his ancient holy way, we know the end for which we're made. And let us not forget the way to walk down narrow but well-trodden track, nor get diverted down regrets, but safe in faith, take all our steps.